Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Before starting the video, please consider leaving a like. It really motivates us to keep sharing useful content. Also, don't hesitate to subscribe to our channel and activate the little bell so you won't miss any of our upcoming videos about Islamic faith. Thank you all, and enjoy the video. You think about them at night. When everything is silent, the image returns like a whisper. You wake up, and before your day even starts, your mind drifts back to them. You try to focus on work, prayer, life. But it's like they've taken residence in your thoughts. And no matter how hard you try, they don't leave. It's not obsession. It's not even desire. It feels deeper, as if your heart is trying to understand something your mind can't yet explain. You wonder, is this just emotional attachment? Or could it be something more, something divine? Persistent thoughts about someone can shake the soul. They come without warning. Sometimes, they're about someone you barely know, or someone from your past, or someone you thought you moved on from. And yet, they return, again and again. You begin to question your own sanity. You pray, but it still doesn't stop. You try to distract yourself, but nothing works. And this is when you need to pause, take a breath, and reflect. Our thoughts are not random. In Islam, we believe the heart is not just a vessel for emotion. It's also where divine inspiration and tests occur. Allah says in the Qur'an, and He knows what is within the hearts. Surah Al-Hadid 57:6. That person on your mind, their presence in your thoughts may be a message, a sign, a test, or even a mercy in disguise. But to understand what it truly is, you must look inward with sincerity. Sometimes, Allah allows someone to stay in your mind, not because you're meant to be with them, but because you're meant to learn something from them. They may represent a chapter of your healing. They may be a reflection of your wounds. Or maybe they are the mirror showing you who you've become and who you must still grow to be. That's why it hurts. That's why it lingers. Not because you're weak, but because Allah is doing surgery on your soul. And sometimes Allah places someone in your heart to protect you from your own desires. You may want to chase them. You may want to hold on, but Allah, in His mercy, keeps you distant and leaves only the memory behind. And that memory becomes the spark for introspection, for spiritual elevation, and ultimately, for submission. Thinking about someone repeatedly isn't always a punishment. It can be a sign that your soul is in the middle of something sacred. A spiritual conversation between you and your Lord, using thoughts as the language. Don't dismiss it. Don't rush to act on it either. Sit with it. Pray about it. And most of all, ask Allah what He's trying to show you through it. Because when your thoughts won't let go, it's not just about them. It's about you, your heart, your destiny, your Creator's message, waiting to be understood. You might think it's just your heart being dramatic, that maybe you're overthinking it. But what if the persistence of these thoughts is not from you at all? What if God is allowing someone to stay in your mind for a reason you haven't uncovered yet? When someone occupies your thoughts day after day, even when you try to move on, even after dua, fasting, and distractions, there's a possibility that you're being invited to look deeper, not just at them, but at yourself. Allah may be using that person as a means to bring you closer to Him. Because the way your heart clings, the way your soul aches, it exposes something within you that still needs healing, surrender, or understanding. Sometimes, that person you keep thinking about isn't your future, but they're part of your preparation for it. You might not end up with them, speak to them, or even see them again. But through their memory, Allah is softening you, or warning you, or refining you. What you feel may not be desire, it may be divine disruption, the kind of disruption that wakes you up from spiritual sleep, the kind that exposes your fears, your impatience, your hidden needs, or your ego, and that is mercy. It could be that this person is a hidden mirror, sent by Allah, not for companionship but for clarity. Maybe you are not supposed to chase them, but rather chase the version of you that you were when you first met them, the version that was innocent, hopeful, and honest. Maybe their presence in your thoughts is Allah telling you, look at how far your heart has come and what it still carries. We often think Allah speaks only through dreams, signs, or verses. But sometimes He speaks through silence and unanswered thoughts. A recurring name, a constant presence in your heart, even a face you can't forget. They might be symbols, not destinations. They might represent something that Allah wants you to fix, protect, or let go of. Sometimes you're not meant to reunite with someone but to release them, fully and sincerely. And in doing so, you free your soul from attachment to the dunya. And sometimes, yes, that thought that won't leave may be a part of your qadar. It could be Allah keeping their memory alive in your heart because their role in your life isn't over yet. But here is the test. Will you remain patient and faithful, or will you act from your emotions and ruin the very plan Allah has for you? Allah says in the Qur'an, but perhaps you hate a thing and it is good for you, and perhaps you love a thing and it is bad for you. And Allah knows, while you know not. Surah Al-Baqarah 2-216. Your thoughts aren't random. They are either a test, a warning, a reflection, or a promise still unfolding. Let Allah decide which one. You, stay close to Him and keep your heart soft. When you find yourself unable to stop thinking about someone, it might feel like just a personal struggle or a passing phase. Yet, what if these persistent thoughts are more than just your own feelings? What if God is using this experience as a way to communicate with you? In many spiritual traditions, including Islam, such repeated thoughts can be signs, subtle messages sent by the divine to guide, teach, or prepare you. These signs don't always come as loud proclamations or obvious miracles. Often, they come softly, woven into the fabric of your daily life as small but meaningful coincidences or recurring symbols. You might notice that the person who occupies your mind is linked to certain moments of clarity, peaceful prayers, or sudden insights. Maybe hearing a particular song or seeing a symbol related to them triggers feelings that stir your heart toward reflection and growth. These are not random. They could be gentle nudges from Allah, inviting you to pause and listen deeply to what your heart and soul are trying to express. If thinking about this person encourages you to turn toward prayer, to seek forgiveness, or to reflect on your character, then these thoughts can be understood as spiritual invitations. Rather than leading you into confusion or despair, such persistent memories might be divine encouragement to improve yourself, to become more patient, compassionate, and trusting in Allah's wisdom and timing. This process can feel like a spiritual test, where your heart is being refined and your faith strengthened. You may also experience dreams or moments of sudden insight connected to this person, moments that seem too significant to be mere coincidence. Sometimes, these signs manifest through symbolic events, a chance encounter, repeated numbers, or meaningful phrases that seem to confirm that Allah is near and attentive. Such signs are often meant to reassure you that you are not forgotten, even in your moments of emotional struggle. Allah says in the Qur'an, "And your Lord has not forgotten you." Surah Ad-Duha 93:3. This verse reminds believers that no matter how lost or overwhelmed they feel, Allah is always aware and present. The persistent presence of someone in your thoughts could be Allah's way of reminding you of His closeness, His mercy, and His plan unfolding in ways you cannot yet see. However, it is crucial to distinguish between signs from Allah and distractions from your own ego or from Shaitan's whispers. True divine signs will guide you toward peace, humility, and spiritual growth, not toward anxiety, obsession, or despair. When these thoughts inspire you to seek Allah's guidance more sincerely, to practice patience, and to trust His plan, they are likely a blessing in disguise. So if your thoughts about someone bring you a sense of calmness, encourage you to pray more, or inspire you to become a better person, see this as a sacred sign. It means that Allah is gently drawing you closer to Him through your heart's longings and reflections. Continue to seek Him in prayer and remain patient, knowing that He alone understands what is best for your soul and your future. This journey, though sometimes confusing, is part of a greater spiritual awakening, one that will ultimately lead you toward peace and fulfillment beyond what your heart currently imagines. When you find yourself constantly thinking about someone, and you sense that this feeling goes beyond simple curiosity or attachment, it might be a sign from God, a divine message tailored uniquely for you. Sometimes, Allah places someone in your heart and mind, not to remain there indefinitely, but to prepare you for what lies ahead. This preparation is not always obvious or comfortable. It's often quiet and unseen, working within your soul. This person's presence in your thoughts can be a spiritual test or a blessing disguised as a challenge. It might be that Allah is using this situation to shape your character, deepen your faith, or teach you patience and reliance on Him. The longing and the emotional turbulence you experience are part of a greater plan designed to strengthen your inner self and prepare you for future trials or triumphs. You might not realize it immediately, but every time you think about them, you're being reminded of lessons you need to learn. Perhaps Allah is teaching you about trust, about letting go of control, or about surrendering your desires to His greater wisdom. Maybe you're being prepared to face a difficult situation with calm and courage, or to embrace a new chapter of your life with faith and hope. This preparation is deeply personal. It's not about the other person, but about you. The thoughts and feelings are tools Allah uses to refine your heart and spirit. When your mind dwells on someone repeatedly, it invites you to reflect on your own emotions, fears, and hopes. It encourages you to turn inward, to seek Allah's guidance, and to ask for clarity and strength. Allah says in the Qur'an, "Indeed, with hardship comes ease." Surah Ash-Sharh 94:6. The difficulty of managing persistent thoughts and emotions about someone is part of the hardship. But it is also the beginning of ease, the beginning of spiritual growth, healing, and deeper connection with Allah. Sometimes, this preparation leads to victory. Victory over your own doubts, fears, or past wounds. It prepares you to step into a new role, a new responsibility, or a new stage of your life with confidence and faith. Other times, it is about protection. Allah might keep you from rushing into something that is not meant for you, while simultaneously teaching you patience and trust. You don't always get to see the full picture right away. Faith means trusting that Allah's plan is perfect, even when the path feels confusing or painful. This trust is itself a victory, a sign that you are growing spiritually. So when you can't stop thinking about someone, remember that this might be Allah's way of preparing you. It's a quiet, powerful process happening in your heart. Embrace it with prayer, patience, and surrender. Ask Allah to guide you through it, to give you wisdom, and to reveal what is best for your soul. This preparation is a sacred journey, one that leads you closer to your true self and ultimately closer to Allah. It is a reminder that even in moments of longing and uncertainty, you are never alone. Allah is with you, shaping you, preparing you, and leading you toward the victory He has promised. When thoughts of someone persist in your mind, it's natural to wonder if it means something deeper. But beyond curiosity and emotion, you must also ask, how do these thoughts affect my relationship with Allah? This is a vital spiritual checkpoint. If someone's presence in your heart is pulling you closer to your Creator, then you may be experiencing something that transcends human emotion. It may be a divine alignment. But if those thoughts are leading you into anxiety, disobedience, or distance from Allah, it may be a distraction disguised as desire. Allah, in His infinite wisdom, does not bring people into your life or your heart without purpose. Sometimes, He places someone on your mind as a mirror, to reflect something inside you that needs healing or growth. At other times, it's a test, a way to see whether you'll turn to Him or become consumed by your own emotions. This is where discernment becomes crucial. The Prophet Muhammad taught us that the heart is the core of a person. If the heart is sound, the whole body is sound. But if the heart is corrupted, then everything else is corrupted. It is Sahih al-Bukhari, Sahih Muslim. So you must ask, what effect does this person's memory have on your heart? If thinking about them increases your dua, if it makes you pray for clarity, for wisdom, for peace, then that is a blessing. Allah uses what is already in your heart to pull you toward Him. But if that memory drags you into overthinking, fear, jealousy, or even sinful behavior, then it's time to purify your focus. The heart has only so much space. It cannot be fully occupied by someone else and still have room for sincere love of Allah, unless that person inspires and leads you closer to Him. Sometimes, Allah allows these persistent thoughts to remain just long enough for you to discover something. Maybe a weakness in your trust, or a hidden idol in your heart that competes with Him. Remember, even love can become a test. Anything that becomes more important to you than Allah, even unintentionally, can be a form of spiritual imbalance. That's why you must constantly recalibrate your intentions. Surah Al-Baqarah 286 says, Allah does not burden a soul beyond that it can bear. If these thoughts are becoming too heavy, remember this verse. It means that Allah sees your struggle and He knows your capacity. He is not testing you to break you, but to teach you, to strengthen you, and to redirect your heart towards something purer, toward Him. So monitor your heart carefully. Ask yourself, is this making me better? Am I becoming more grateful, more patient, more sincere in my worship? If the answer is yes, perhaps Allah is using this person as a spiritual signal. But if the answer is no, then it's time to let go, or at least shift your focus. Let your thoughts of someone become a reason to draw nearer to Allah. Let them remind you of your need for divine guidance, your dependence on His timing, and your trust in His wisdom. Because ultimately, no person, no matter how deeply you feel for them, should ever come between you and your Creator. May Allah bless you and guide you to a life filled with mercy, love, and tranquility.